The chocolate cartel.
Best answer wins a box of quality treats.
Come with me, and you'll be. This is so chaotic already. Anyways, hello guys, what is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. This is episode number 18. Myself and Ebony, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be talking about the latest Hollywood blockbuster. I feel it doesn't kind of give the energy of a blockbuster, so to speak, but it is a pretty big movie. It is the Christmas movie of the year.
I mean, it was big in terms of like a film, but also it was long.
Right.
It was long.
We're already getting some of the thoughts out there. And of course, the film we're talking about is, of course, Wonka.
Wonka!
Yes. Ebony, myself and you and a group of others, we went to see this, I believe, last Friday.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of cocktails, had a really fun Friday.
And some non-alcoholic Prosecco.
You had some, yeah, and you spilt it. Yeah, it was a really fun Friday night. Were you excited to see Wonka?
No.
Or was this... No.
No.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest, myself as well. I wasn't really like super hyped for this film.
But
No?
no.
I went into it with an open...
I thought it was going to be shit.
Okay.
When I saw the first trailer,
Yeah.
I saw now quiet up and listen down. Scratch that. Reverse it. And I was like,
You're not a fan of Timmy?
little Timmy Tim.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll get into Timmy Timms in a little bit. Wonka. Willy Wonka.
Willy. Anyway.
Composure. Willy Wonka, chock full of ideas and determined to change the world one delectable bite at a time, is proof that the best things in life begin with a dream. And if you're lucky enough to meet Willy Wonka, anything is possible. Thank you for the added sound effects there.
Yes.
And IMDb says, with dreams of opening a shop in a city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. Speaking of cities, what city did this take place in? Because it has remnants of France, right? But then you also have all these Cockney people from like London, right?
Yeah.
So it's a mix of, I feel like it's a mix of London and France, but then you also have like people dressing like they're in an Italian town as well. So is it just
But is it like back in time as well a little bit? Because they were wearing like 40s sort of.
Yeah, it's like I mean, obviously it doesn't take place in the modern day.
No. We need a modern Wonka.
We need a modern Wonka.
Yeah, because I feel like that would be more terrifying.
That's actually a good segment into what I actually wanted to ask you about. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Big films for you growing up?
The two before.
But the thing is this a prequel that takes place in the same universe? Because I don't think it does, because it doesn't sort of have the same origins as Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka.
Because in that one,
his father like was the dentist with the braces and
you
whatnot.
get that really weird backstory where his house is just that he's living in
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
block.
Yeah.
And he didn't let him have sweets, so then he was like, I'm gonna go make chocolate.
Exactly.
And rebelled against his daddy issues.
Yeah.
You know?
So I guess this is a bit of a soft reboot prequel kind of thing.
Okay, so that is my film when I think of
Right,
Wonka,
right.
the Johnny Depp version. I know that people had some problems with that.
Yeah.
And then the first one, the original...
The Gene Wilder version,
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I saw a clip from it the other day and it looked very unhinged, so I will watch it
It
because
is.
I love it.
So I remember watching that first film, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder. I remember watching on a school trip on a bus. So, you know, like remember the coaches? Yeah. You remember the coaches? They would have like the tiny screen for like the kids to be entertained on the way to like a museum or something. I remember watching that first.
You were lucky. I just had to stare out the fucking window.
I mean, we didn't get this treatment all the time, but I do remember that distinct experience. Yeah, and I thought it was weird, and I haven't watched it since.
Traumatizing weird or like fun weird?
Neither. I don't know. I feel like I would appreciate that first film much more as an adult. That's what I think.
Okay.
But like many people of our generation, I feel like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp version, even though I don't think it's like the best film, was our like definitive kind of take on that world and that character.
I liked it because everyone was like, oh, it was a bit weird, and a lot of my friends were scared of it. But I'm thinking, if a grown man is inviting kids to his chocolate
It is a bit messed up, isn't it?
He's a bit tapped in the head.
He is.
To make it as creepy as the whole concept is anyway, come and eat all my chocolate and you'll win. Like,
it's a bit questionable.
You know, like, of course I'm going to be like, okay, but then I liked that film and the backstory. Yeah, it was a bit creepy, but it worked for me. I like creepy things. This one, we're bringing up a generation of soft kids. I'm really sorry. There was no, like, trauma here. Even the bad guys weren't really bad. Like, they were just...
It was a very feel-good film. It was, like, harmless in a way. It didn't really challenge the audience that much in terms of... I think it was... We'll get onto the film in a second, but, like, I feel like I had a good time with the film because I didn't really have that high of expectations. What I do want to say about not Willy Wonka. What I do want to say about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory growing up, like I said, I don't think it's the best I don't think it's the best film. If I was to watch it as an adult, I would definitely be like, what the hell is going on? However, one thing it did for me as a kid was sort of, because you're put into the shoes of Charlie, it sort of gave me that kind of longing to, when you're a kid, you love chocolate, and I really wanted to get a golden ticket as a kid. So seeing it from the perspective of Charlie was something that, like, I kind of really sort of enjoyed as a kid, and sort of going into the chocolate factory and seeing all these wild and crazy things, and seeing what's her name, Veruca, is that her name?
Yeah.
Blow up like a blueberry, and the other girl getting, like,
with the
squirrels, exactly, was kind of scary and traumatizing, but also sort of wonderful.
Because I mean, it ties in perfectly. I think that whole film is, like, a very good film, because the thing about it, like, is greed.
Yeah.
And they've all been greedy in some way. Like, even his, like, origin story, his dad was, like, greedy and wanted to control him.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, no, my greed is that I want to go and do this. So it's all kind of fuels off that. So of course, like, it will already wrong.
It teaches kids somewhat of a good lesson, I think.
Yeah, you don't stomp your feet and go into some guy's chocolate factory. Yeah. I wasn't going to go do that because, but this guy, I'm like, why not?
Shall we talk about Wonka then? Let's do it. Let's
dive in.
Well, I think maybe let's start off with Timmy. Shall we talk about Timmy? What's your take on Timothee Chalamet as an actor in general? Thoughts on him being cast as Wonka? No? Yes? Sort of?
Like, I don't know, because, like, surely you would want, like, okay, so say if I went to a dress shop,
right, and
there was a lady dressed really badly, and she was like, well, buy one of my dresses, they're really good, like, trust in my style. I'm like, well, you don't look like you should look like a product of what you're trying to sell, right?
Right.
Little Timmy Tim looks a bit malnourished, so how am I supposed to believe that he's making good chocolate? Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, he's a good actor,
right? But,
like, I think that Willy Wonka should be a bit more like, I got chocolate to give.
So you think Willy Wonka should be some, like, buff, tough kind of bar my chocolate love kind of person, or
even just a little bit tubsy, you know?
But it is an origin story, right? Like, he's supposed to be a young kind of Wonka. I mean, look, I didn't mind Timmy. Yeah. I think he I feel like, obviously this film is a musical, and he was fine. Like, I wasn't, like, super impressed. It wasn't like a La La Land situation where, like, you had, like, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone sort of come into these roles and really sort of embrace the musical and the dance elements and, like, really impress you. I'm not saying they're, like, fantastic singers or dancers. Yeah. They were in that film, but it wasn't a situation like that with Timmy. Like, he did the job, I feel. Like, I think he was fine. I mean, I wasn't surprised when they cast him as Wonka, because it makes sense. It makes sense, yeah. Like, he has the appeal. He's a talented actor, I feel.
For what they're doing,
yeah,
making a very playful, lighthearted, softer Wonka film,
yeah,
then yes, why not?
Right.
Because he can do the wit and the kind of, like, I don't know, it's light-hearted energy that he has to bring to it. Of course, it's a Wonka film, which isn't specifically looking at Wonka throughout the whole film, because you've got so many other characters.
Right.
Of course, we're not going to dig deep into him as such. Like, we find out about his mum. Yeah, okay, cool. That's why you wanted to make chocolate. You do see the origin of, like, the golden ticket, I guess, like that little thing of, like, the mum's message, which I thought was really nice, kind of like
a nice tie to the yeah.
So he, like, okay, I like Timothee Chalamet. I think that he's done very well. I remember when I watched him in Call Me by Your Name. I watched that ages after it came out, because I hate watching things when they're hyped up, because I'm like, I want to form my own opinion about it. So I do really appreciate what he does, and in Dune as well. But I do feel like they could have got someone else who wasn't already famous.
Right.
And it would have felt more
like new, authentic, and like deeper. Yeah, I know. I kind of agree. I agree with you in that sense. I just feel like I think Timothee Chalamet, I like him a lot as an actor, but I think he really thrives when the character is given more. Like even with something like Dune, I mean, it's a massive action blockbuster, so to speak, sci-fi blockbuster, and there's so many characters, but his character still has, I'm not saying he's like the deepest character ever, but he still has a lot more sort of interesting things to play around with. I feel like in Wonka, it's an origin story and this and that. The only thing his character really has going for him is his whole sort of tie-in with his mother. I never really felt like I understood why he was so in love with chocolate. And, you know, all these crazy elements of like the magical elements of thunder and this and that. It just felt like he was more of a stand-in for the character. And I never really bought into his love for his craft. I think it's like, I love films where the main character or characters, you know, they have this really passionate side to them. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like in our situations, can relate to anyone who's just passionate about anything because passion is infectious. But I never felt like I really understood why Wonka was like so crazy about chocolate. It just felt like, you know, oh, Willy Wonka's the chocolate guy, you know, and that's kind of it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
The whole origin thing with his mum was like a nice heartfelt thing, but never really sort of came to like...
It was just, my mum died.
Yeah.
She made chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm now making chocolate to be closer to my mum.
Yeah. And you get like the odd cameo from Sally Hawkins who just like sort of steps in and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was, I just love her though.
No, I really like Sally Hawkins.
As a person, like, I feel like I know her. Like, I feel like she's just so sweet. If she was a bitch, I'd be so confused. Like,
Have you seen the film? This is a Matthew Vaughn film. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Oh my god, Daniel Craig. Layer Cake. It's like a British gangster film that came out in like the early 2000s, and she plays the wife of a British mobster. And she's like, I saw her on TV the other day, because usually Sally Hawkins is like the sort of like gentle, motherly kind of character. She's in this film. You need to watch Layer Cake just for Sally Hawkins in this. She's kind of like, oi, Rodney, mate, yeah. Like she's fully going like cockney. I don't. It was hilarious. I was watching it and I was like, I literally called Clara over. I was like, this is Sally Hawkins, and it was so funny. But yeah, no, like she was a nice touch to the film. I feel like
she's a MILF.
What?
No.
Oh,
why would you say that?
What I was gonna say, yeah. So Timmy, I think he was fine. Like he did the job.
A good job.
He did a good job.
They didn't give him layers, so he worked with the layers he had.
You were laughing quite a lot at his musical ability, though.
No. Okay, so it didn't help that Joe was sitting next to me,
right?
And he was creasing,
okay, which
was making me be like, "Is this funny?" And then I'm laughing at it because of like the fact that he was laughing. So I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a little bit funny." I think any sort of, because I didn't know it was a musical thing. Any sort of musical theatre does make me like chuckle a little bit. So this is more to do with a bit like sort of buying into the musical aspects and sort of personal taste. It was just so cheerful, and
that
was funny.
I feel like the real sort of stars of this film are like the British supporting cast, though.
Yeah,
like you have so many great like British actors. I'm gonna list a few of them.
The guy who does I Want That One.
Yeah, exactly. Hugh Grant, of course, right, as the Oompa Loompa. What do you think? What do you think about Hugh Grant as Oompa Loompa? The Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa.
I didn't like the Oompa Loompa.
No,
I love Hugh Grant. I think everything he does is good. I think that he also doesn't seem to believe in the things that he does enough. Like when you hear him talking about stuff, when you hear him talking about the dance that he did in Love Actually, which was great, and he talks about even that whole film, he always seems like pained by the things that he's done. And I'm like,
he's almost like ashamed to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, because like if I watch things that I've been in or I talk about them, I feel sick to my stomach. So I can guess that for actors, like if it's something you love to do and you just love doing it and you don't love the promo, you don't love watching it, you don't love talking about it.
Yeah,
I get that. But he just didn't seem, when I was watching interviews with him about this, well, everything that he did was just green screen. So I think for him, an actor of that sort of like height and fame, like I feel like you should have used him, or talent even, used him a little bit more for other things. But also I think they didn't build enough of the world.
Yeah.
Like
They sort of had the one
physically.
scene where like you see his kind of how Willy Wonka kind of stole the cocoa beans from his sort of island of Oompa Loompas, and that was kind of it. And then he sort of pops in and out of the film occasionally. I think he was really, really funny, but mainly just because it's Hugh Grant and he's CGI'd onto like a small body, and that in of itself is really, really funny. And obviously the dance that he does, and like it is really funny. And like I did find, especially like Friday night having drinks and stuff, like it was very, very funny.
Nice.
And I think it was good.
His little shop he's on the boot.
Yeah. And he's like reclines. And when it did it for a second time, I literally lost it. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like Hugh Grant it's almost like you feel like this is almost a job to him, as opposed to something he's like genuinely excited for. I know he's playing a CGI Oompa Loompa, but yes.
Because I think you can't beat the Oompa Loompa from
Charlie.
Johnny Depp's one.
Yeah, Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Because obviously he was every single Oompa Loompa. Like that man put in the hours for that role.
Yeah, he did.
And then Hugh Grant's just like...
The film is directed by Paul King. Paul King. And he directed the Paddington films.
Oh, yes. My mom's favourite film.
I haven't actually seen the Paddington films.
And you get at me about...
Yeah, I know. Listen, look.
Do you see what... It's a hypocrite.
How if you as someone who hasn't seen the Paddington films, where would you put Wonka in relation to them in terms of how much you enjoyed them? Last?
Yes.
You've seen both Paddington films, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and apparently they're great.
Number 2, Paddington 2.
Yeah.
Paddington 1.
Wonka. Right.
But I don't...
Do you see some similarities between those films and Wonka? Were there any things that you saw and then you were like, oh, that's a nice sort of takeover that sort of Paul King's brought on from one sort of franchise to the other? Because I feel like all of these films come under the same sort of genre of like these really nice feel-good family films that are well constructed, well shot, well directed, and have a lot of personality and energy to them.
Hugh Grant's in
Paddington 2. He is.
Okay, so I don't know if you can compare them.
Yeah.
Because when you watch Paddington... it's not overdone. Like you can actually believe that Paddington could be real.
Right.
You're like, this all makes sense and it's not too far-fetched.
So the stories are simple and sort of more contained, but then you're able to sort of expand from them.
Yeah, because with Paddington, like, you see him in very ordinary situations,
yeah.
whereas there's no singing and dancing. It's set in real time, modern society.
Right.
And so you believe, like, oh, you know, if I saw Paddington walking down the street, like, okay. But with this one, because of the singing and the magical sweets, like, it feels like a fantasy land.
Right.
So it feels separate to those two. Like, I feel like it doesn't... You can't compare it to the other Charlie and the Chocolate Factory films. You can't compare it to Paddington. Like, it is just a standalone film.
Right.
Which is why I think it works.
Yeah.
But then...
That is something I enjoyed about the film. It's almost like you don't even have to watch anything else.
No.
To just kind of enjoy this film as like for what it is. I'm sure they will probably, like, depending on how like the box office goes, I'm sure they'll probably do another one with regards to this.
I think they should.
Right.
But maybe, like, what I thought it was lacking is the fact that, yeah, his mom's died. He wants to make chocolate now. The other people who make chocolate, they just want it to be expensive just because. But how have they got there? But what is the obsession with chocolate? Yeah. And then he's got all of these magical contraptions, but where has he been?
Right.
I feel like, and then with all these people, and like even her mum, the little girl's mum at the end, she's just like, oh, my child that's been gone for all of these years is just here, and she's just like.
So this is what I actually wanted to... So the heart of the film feels like it's in sort of two different places. There's the whole Willy Wonka and his mother kind of story. But the real heart of the film, I feel like what they're really going for is the relationship between him and Noodle.
And the kid. Yeah.
Noodle, the kid. Who randomly turns out to be related to so-and-so. And like that felt so shoehorned in, I'll be completely honest.
The movie would have been fine.
Yeah.
Say... Like, it would have set it up better. Say the guy, you get a bit backstory and how they.
He was great, by the way. He was so funny, like as a villain.
He was also kind of scary. Like, this man would drown me in chocolate, you know. But I feel like if we'd got, let's say her mum had seen him work his way to the top and discovered something about his evil ways, say he drowned her mum in chocolate, or or he'd cast her out of society and banished her because obviously he can pay people to get them out of town, and then just been like, well, I don't want a kid. Like that would make more sense than my brother's.
Yeah. It felt a bit way too convoluted.
Because why would he care about what his brother's up to? Like, she came to your door. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I just feel, and I agree with you. I feel like it just got way too sort of plotty, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't really have to have that. And then you have the scene at the end where she's reunited with her mother, but you never get the sense from the character that she's longing for that parental sort of relationship. Her sort of thing in the film is more so like
she just wants books.
Yeah, like finding her place in the world and kind of escaping from like the film is almost this kind of heist kind of film where they're all trying to break out of a prison, and like Olivia Coleman and what's his name? Tom Davis.
When he was wearing the little
that was brilliant. And also Rowan Atkinson as
Olivia Coleman. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's great.
I will work with her one day. I'm going to manifest it. You know?
No, you will. Yeah, for sure.
She's everything she's in. I just love her. I love her in Fleabag so much.
I haven't seen Fleabag either. I need to watch it. I loved her in The Favourite. She was great in The Favourite.
It was just like, look at me.
Look at me. Stop looking at me. Nah, she's fantastic. She's great. And also, what did you think of Rowan Atkinson?
Oh, anything he's in, anything he touches is just
it's just
great.
Gold. Yeah. And the chocolate monks? Oh my god. Oh god.
When he's just like, when he puts the chocolate in, it's just like a typical. I was just like watching Mr. Bean again, like his facial expression. He just nails it.
Yeah.
The giraffe.
Run away.
And he was like, I don't know, but like you said about the tiger as well.
Yeah. That never went anywhere.
Like it wasn't needed. There were certain things that didn't need to be in the film.
Right.
Considering there were so many characters, the police officers, the other people who had been trapped, Olivia Coleman's character and the other guy. There were so many people that we were all supposed to care about that it was very surface level.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things where like people always say to me there, I remember I used to hang out with some movie bros, you know, and I remember.
That's what you're doing right now,
no, but you guys like there are levels.
Okay, sure.
There's like, you know, the people on the gym that are on steroids, right?
Yeah.
So of course they look really buff, and then there are the people that've been in the gym for 15 years and they're buff.
Right.
You know, like the comparison.
So go on.
But you're the naturally buff.
Oh, is it?
And they're the ones on steroids, like
right.
The fakers, you know. So, you know, and they were like, my dad's favorite film, or one of his favorite films, is Spy.
Right.
Melissa
McCarthy. Yeah.
It's just a film for watching a film and enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those films.
Of course. I feel like it's a nice Christmas film. Like, it's fun and it's whimsical and it's comedic and it's witty and it's all these different kind of things. And I think like Paul King, he does that stuff really well. Like I said, I haven't seen the Paddington films, and
it's what you need at Christmas.
Exactly. It's that, and also you have like the sort of wondrous aspects that come with like the world of Wonka and the chocolate and this and that and whatnot. And you have like an A-star British cast in there for like the adults to enjoy and sort of play off. And you know, it is like it's got a lot of heartfelt things, but then it's also this sort of weird sort of allegory for capitalism in a way, and it's just I wasn't expecting much, and I just kind of just had a fun time with it. I think it's a good Friday night, to be honest.
I liked it more than I liked Barbie.
Okay, I don't agree with you on that, but but I feel like Barbie is a film that I really enjoyed the first time I watched it, but I feel like I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it as much on the second watch. I could be wrong.
I enjoyed it more the second time.
Oh,
I'm the opposite to you. I think when I saw it, I had such
high
big expectations because everyone was like, "Oh, I was crying my eyes out. Where's your Barbie?" And I saw it and I was like, "It's just like, it didn't." It kind of, you know, when movies they're like, oh yeah, they're going somewhere, and then they're like, oh, but they just kind of.
It didn't quite
circle back.
Yeah.
I was expecting something. I don't, but then that's another thing, a totally different thing of like whenever you like touch upon feminism in films,
right?
Just because it's such, like, in society, society's quite misogynistic anyway.
Right.
Any sort of touch upon feminism is just seen as a cliche because it's just, like, so deep-rooted in society that they're going to be like, oh, feminist, but you want to burn your brows and it's going to be emotional. Yeah. So when people saw that, I think they were just kind of like, well, yeah, so it's a woman making a film about Barbie. But I liked it, and you could still kind of.
You liked Barbie,
Like, I didn't mind it, but I was expecting something really powerful.
right?
It was just kind of like a
Yeah.
Barbie film.
No. I feel like, I mean, the thing with Barbie is like feminism and just like all these societal issues. It's such a broad topic, and
Yeah.
I think what people where people kind of fell off is the idea that it introduces all these different things, but never really fully. That's the problem with me. Is the problem that I had with the film is it never really fully delves into them, but it sort of just presents it on this kind of palette,
Yeah.
and sort of doesn't really. It jokes and it pokes fun at these kind of things, but it doesn't really kind of explore them properly. And that's fair enough because it's a Barbie film, it's a big budget film, and Greta Gerwig had the task of kind of
and it was
trying to please as many people as possible, and I think she did.
I think that the filmmaking was good.
Yeah,
Like the
Ryan
costumes,
Gosling was great.
the set design, the thought that
Ryan
went
Gosling
into
was
it.
great.
He was great. And it was the first time that I've really appreciated him as an actor. So I'm now on the Ryan Gosling.
You need to. I'll give you a list of the.
Well, I kind of somewhat watched
Drive.
Drive
You saw a little bit of that. No, you need to sit down and probably watch. That was on in the background, like.
when I was laying on the floor.
So Wonka, thumbs up or thumbs down? Solid. Solid. It was fine. Most people I've seen in my sort of like the film community on Letterboxd and social media have really, really enjoyed the film, like so much.
It's mixed reviews because on the way here I was like, right, I want to hear some other opinions.
Yeah.
When I was on the U of the Tube,
Mixed opinions.
A lot of people were like, this is trash. What is this? And I was like, but it's also a kids film.
Yeah.
So what was it supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people were trying to like Paul King did the Paddington films. Those films were so well received by like all sorts of viewers. Kind of sort of coming off the shoulders of those films, like hoping that it was gonna,
I think that's what it was bound to happen when you cast Timothee Chalamet.
Right.
Because people already have an expectation, but also when someone's so high up in their field of like their career, everyone wants to find a reason to pull it down.
Right.
So I think people were going to hate on it. Even if it was amazing, they'd be like, oh, well, he wasn't really that good, was he? Because everyone just wants to shit on people that are thriving. And I think our cancel culture is just so ripe that he could have done amazing things and people are still going to be like, it wants.
You're not going to please everyone.
No.
You are not going to please everyone, for sure.
But I think I would watch that with cousins and be like happily enjoy it. Like, I could watch it again and still enjoy it.
Yeah, I would gladly like show this film to my like nephews and niece and whatnot. I think it's a great film for kids, and you don't see too many of these kind of films being made anymore. Like a film that really kind of just sort of has fun, is witty, isn't like stupid fun either. Like it's not dumb, it's not super like slapsticky. The humor is sharp and witty, and it's a film that both kids and parents can enjoy. And I think on that note, I mean, I enjoyed the film. I had fun with Wonka. Is it a film that I'm dying to watch again? Not really, but I'm sure I will at some point after watching Paddington 1 and 2.
Yes.
And after you watch the rest of Harry Potter.
We could do a little Paddington 1 and 2 screen.
There you go. That's like I feel I'm saving Paddington for a rainy day though. Like just sort of.
You said.
Yeah, I know. Ebony, final concluding thoughts on Wonka.
Tasty.
Tasty.
It was okay. It wasn't okay.
I mean, it's all right.
It's all right.
I'll read as fuck my bit. No, yeah.
It was enjoyable.
Well, thank you.
No, but I would say to my mum, yeah, because she was like, should I go and see it? And
it's not a yes. It's a
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you're not missing out if you don't. But you might gain a few laughs if you do.
You're not gonna ask me what my favorite chocolate is?
Oh, Dylan.
You're rude, man.
Well,
no.
maybe
no one actually cares. But
you are your favorite chocolate.
I'm sorry. Did we just witness racism or on the pod?
Lovely caramel complexion. I know.
Caramel.
You're definitely someone's favorite chocolate. Anyway, I digress. So guys, that's the end of the podcast.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. Comment what you thought about Wonka down below in the comment section, I guess. And also comment what your favorite chocolate is. Mine is Ferrero Rocher or Lindor.
Oh, Lindor.
What did you say yours was?
Rocher. Anything with caramel.
Anything with caramel. Well, there you go. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and we will catch you
toffee crisp
very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.